your films were absolutely, to your point, more than controversial. They were touching on subjects, they were broaching subjects that were impactful, whether it be, political, what have you. But I do feel like the films today, if we can just touch on this briefly, do not maintain that same sense of impact. And so I'd like for you to touch on that a bit further. Sorry if that was a bit of a confusing question, but the films today are certainly nowhere near as controversial as they used to be. And I would like to hear you expound on that just a little bit.
Yeah, I think about The Deer Hunter or Apocalypse Now or Taxi Driver, Raging Bull based on Jake LaMotta. So, I mean, I'm very much a fan of the old Oliver Stone, Martin Scorsese, this kind of work. And because they all mattered and they were all reflections of the life they were in, and they were hurtful for also the population. Showing, for example, in The Deer Hunter, like Michael Cimino, like whoever came back from Vietnam was fucked up. That happened there. You get fucked up in that crazy war where you don't even know why you're here. You got drafted and you don't even get it, like that you do any difference here or whatever. You have no clue how that should end. And then comes the order, okay, we retreated. Right? So then you're back in America and you're like, 2 years of my life gone. I saw tons of people die. I did horrible things. So, and now they think I'm a carpenter again. So. And
I do.
Movies matter. It's not like everything all at once, whatever, or Moonlight or this kind of movie that matter. No, they don't. They don't matter. They just fitting in the narrative. Like woman power, or this kind of diversity power. Like whatever. And you feel like, okay, I'm not nothing against woman power or LGBTQ, but I have nothing against it. But that's not the stuff what moves the world. Like, like in Iran, I read today a statistic, like last year, were only worldwide death penalties were like 3,500 and like 2,800 alone in Iran. Right? So, I mean, sorry, but then to say, you sympathize with them because you hate Israel or something. It's super fucking idiotic. They are fucking murderers. Nothing else, right? So they're the Stone Age shithole where I can never, I mean, even if I think the war will end up in a total disaster, it's like, I don't think that they started that war without knowing anything what they want to do. But to defend Iran and to say publicly like they are good people or whatsoever, then you don't study the facts. So and that is what I mean. It's like I like the Darfur film I did about the genocide in Sudan, right? It's like I did that so harsh, the movie, because I felt, okay, 300,000 people cut into pieces and nothing happens. Because whatever, no oil, we give a shit, right? So there was no money involved. So that is why I wanted to show that is how kids getting impaled and we're not doing anything. And in other countries like Iran, they could build a bomb. Now we have to completely spend hundreds of billions. That's the absurdity we're living in. So we're getting lied to by the ruling class also in a way that they basically say, we need to go to Afghanistan. There's Osama bin Laden. And then 10 years later, $250 billion later, okay, Osama bin Laden was actually in Pakistan. And that was all completely bullshit, what we did in Afghanistan. And now we retreat, and then they're retreating in the total chaos, like where you feel like, okay, for 20 years, you basically were sitting there in power. But when you retreat, you lose all kind of control. And you're just hanging on the wheels of an airplane. I mean, what the fuck is wrong with you? That was all insane. So we have basically that insanity in front of us, but we don't make the movies about it.
It's
like
so true.
There is not, tell me one movie you have like Mark Wahlberg, Lone Survivor, another hero story. But where is that movie about Afghanistan with Hollywood stars? What shows like Catch-22 was, or Deer Hunter, or Apocalypse Now, how totally fucked up that thing was. It, you
Right.
know,